Hello everyone, my name is Lily and I'm the creative director here at Bubblegum Cartoons, and today we are doing some of your unpopular animation opinions. I asked you guys on Instagram, on both my Lily animation account and my Bubblegum Cartoons account, what are some of your unpopular animation opinions, and I'm gonna kind of react to them. Huge disclaimer, this obviously are just my opinions and it has no reflection or shows the views of any of the companies that I work for, outside of Bubblegum Cartoons, of course. And these are also your opinions, and I want to thank you guys so much for having this fun, really interesting conversation. And thank you so much if you guys were commenting on those stories on my Instagram account. So anyway, let's get into your opinions. I will also be doing the 6 fan art character challenge while I'm doing this. So I'm just doing this little speed draw with me type thing. I'm using iPad Pro and the 2nd generation pencil in Procreate. Anyway, let's get into it. So first unpopular opinion is the writers are just as important as the artists. And I agree with this, especially a lot of times storyboard artists are both. They're entitled to being respected in the workplace. And I think that writers do such an amazing job, and writing is its own form of art, as well as painting and animating. And so, yeah, I think everyone in the animation process should be totally treated with respect. The second one is I'm not a fan of She-Ra. I feel the writing and animation was rushed. And this is one of my friends. We went to school together, and we've chatted about this to quite an extent. So if you guys don't know, She-Ra is a rebooted animated TV show that is on Netflix. Back in the day, it was an 80s cartoon, and it was kind of wacky, so they brought it into the modern day, and they redesigned it. I love Noelle Stevenson. She did Lumberjanes, which I read all throughout college. It's this great graphic novel, and I love her art style, but there's just something that doesn't click with me and my friend with the show. I mean, it's all my favorite things. It's magical princess, transformations, girl power, kingdoms, and elemental princesses, a sweet guy best friend, a little nugget friend. There's a magical rainbow-maned horse in it. There's childhood rivalries and the forces of good and evil battling each other. So it's all these wonderful elements all together, but then it's why don't I love it if it's all my favorite things, So we kind of were thinking maybe we just feel like there's no interaction we really liked. There's no, it wasn't really our taste for humor, and the art style was not our favorite. I feel like the background designs have their moments. However, I think this show has so much potential, and it definitely, I don't feel deserved a lot of the hate that it got for being a reboot before it even came out. But yeah, there's just something about the new She-Ra that just doesn't click with me and my friend. And like I said, I love all these elements. Then why, when you bake them all together, does the cake not taste so great? So it's it's interesting to see what gives you joy and why it gives you joy, So the next unpopular opinion is animated storytelling can do things that live action could never do. And this is so true. Animation is the most free medium there is out there, and I just feel there's so many wonderful suspension of disbelief that you can do with animation that you can never get away with in live action. You would get a lot of uncanny valley, or you would just kind of feel okay, I'm not buying this, this is kind of stupid, or it doesn't visually make sense. But with animation, you can do absolutely everything, and so it's kind of disappointing when some shows or movies just kind of do mundane topics that could have really just been live action. So I feel if you have an animated show or a movie, I love to see the medium being pushed and just doing all these wonderful things. You can really truly do anything you want with animation. Number 4, your opinion is that Pixar is too sad. And yes, Pixar does tug on our little heartstrings. They definitely have this formula they go through, this kind of structure, this movie structure that they have, and this kind of like set up for like, making you care about characters. I think that's so important. I took a class back in college with Pixar story artists, and they walked us through how like they set up shots or characters, or like, of course, the good old hero's journey. Y'all are in high school, I'm sure you know about the hero's journey. So the idea that Pixar is too sad, I can totally understand that. Overall, I love Pixar films. I think they're wonderful, especially a lot of the older original ideas were really great. The Incredibles is still my favorite film to this day, and Ratatouille. I love Ratatouille. I tend to have also weird opinions on animation, and I don't know if it's too sad. The thing for me about it being too sad is it is tough to reach for that. Well, not anymore, DVDs on a shelf, but when you used to reach for DVDs on a shelf, you would look at some of them and you're just like, do I really feel like going through that again? Like, some of them are so fun. Like, some of them are much easier watches than others. So I don't think I've seen Inside Out since I saw it in theaters. And it's just kind of like, it's a lot to deal with. And if you're just like doing a casual viewing, you're hanging out with friends or family, you're like, am I ready for that? So some of them are much easier watches, in my opinion. I could watch Ratatouille in like any mood. I think even for The Incredibles, it's like so emotionally like huge for me that I also have to be kind of ready for it. I can still quote it like front to back. I love that film. It's the film that inspired me to get into animation, and my family and friends hate it when I do that, so I am so sorry. The next unpopular opinion is that DreamWorks is better than Disney now. Okay, I have a very strong counter opinion, just because of my personal background and just growing up with these films and where I'm going, with my art and things like that. I am such a Disney nerd. I have always loved Disney. It's a huge part of my heart. And as I do also enjoy a lot of DreamWorks films, and I have a lot of friends who work at DreamWorks, and I adore their art and I adore what they're doing. But for me, I'm a Disney gal through and through. And I love, for me, what sets the two apart is Disney's history and heart. So unfortunately, I do feel very differently about this opinion, but I thank you so much for sharing it. The next one is Frozen 2, though enjoyable, is not as good as the original. And you guys, I have actually been watching Frozen 2 on Disney Plus quite a bit recently. When I first saw it in theaters with my friend Stephanie, I just came out of the theater being like, what did I just watch? Like, it was the weirdest experience because I was so ready to have fun. I adore the visuals. One of my friends does the dress designs and visual development on Frozen 2, and just hearing her talk about her process and what she went through, and she was thinking about things, and just being with Elsa during the process really like warmed my heart so much. When they were going over this bridge, like from Arendelle to the Winter Woods, there was even like this Ivan Earl tree like on like this bridge, and I'm like, I love those touches. This movie is gorgeous. I love it. However, I think you are right. I share the same opinion that the first movie was just so enchanting and spellbinding, and it was so wonderful. And as much as the hype killed it for a lot of people, which I recognize that, I definitely think they had a lot clearer message and idea of what they wanted. When something I learned with the Pixar storyboard class is, when you're storyboarding, there's just so many ideas and so many things get cut that a lot of times you just get so overwhelmed. You're just like, what even was in the last movie? So I understand where story can get overwhelming. However, I was expecting more. I really enjoyed Show Yourself. I was thinking about doing a storyboard, like animatic type thing, where Anna got to be there too, because gosh darn, Anna deserves to be there during that song, and I'm not going to give you spoilers past that. So thank you for sharing your opinion. And the last one we're going to do this week, we're going to do part 2 next week, is hand-drawn animation is superior. And I am going to agree. I believe all forms of animation, stop motion, CGI, all are beautiful. However, as an animator, I just feel like there's a certain heart that you get like directly from your hand to the pencil to the paper. There's a certain heart, there's a certain feeling that you get that's a lot more connected and special than anything you get with like CGI or the computer. Not that those things can't be beautiful, of course they are. There's so many wonderful bells and whistles you can do with digital, and it's easier to fix things that go wrong with digital. However, there's truly so much heart in, just you, the peg bar, your paper, and a light box. It's really something so super magical, and I love it a lot. So I would agree with you. Superior is a hard word, but I do enjoy a really good traditionally animated movie, TV show, what have you. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for your unpopular opinions on animation. I will be doing a part 2 next week, so stay tuned for that. We're also going to be finishing up this 6 fan arts challenge. Do you guys have any unpopular opinions that maybe you and your friends kind of disagree with? Please leave them down below. I'd be really, really interested in hearing what those are. Also, shout out to our patrons on Patreon. You guys are so totally wicked. I'm so happy to have you guys here with us because, especially right now, I really, really appreciate the extra little support there. Shout out to Fan Art of the Week. This is by Mickey Mouse 5102. This is so cute. This is Sophie from my How to Animate Like It's 1920s, 1930s video, where she's kind of like this tap dancer. She's tap dancing to Anything Goes from the opening of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, my favorite Indiana Jones. I love how you did this. I love the old grain. I love her little look. I love like the little legs and how her like hands are like little popped there, and her curls are adorable. You did such a good job. I love this. This is amazing. Thank you so much. If you guys have done any fan art of the show Demonic Crepes, please tag us on Instagram or email it to us. So thank you so much, and until next time guys, stay inspired.